Hello everyone, welcome to Market Flash. Today we're going to take a look at Bitcoin's larger time frame and answer the question if we are in a bear market or is still in a bull market. And also we're going to take a look at Bitcoin's in a smaller time frame to see if there's a chance for Bitcoin to bounce back and show some sign of recovery. Right now, at the time of recording this video, Bitcoin is sitting at $84,692. And if we take a look at the larger time frame, there is a clear indication of Bitcoin bearish divergence. As you can see here, Bitcoin's price action is showing higher highs, and in weekly RSI, we see that Bitcoin is showing lower lows. That is basically a bearish divergence, and this has been playing out since March 2024. And also, we have mentioned in previous video as well that if we get a weekly close below the 50-week moving average, that is an indication that we are entering a bear market. And in this case, we got this weekly close below the 50-week moving average. And also, we are about to get another weekly close below the 50-week moving average. That is basically a double confirmation that we just entered the bear market. This 50-week moving average has been a strong support for Bitcoin starting from the end of 2022 until October 2025. Bitcoin has never closed any weekly candle below the 50-week moving average. And if you look at the prior cycles, for example, in 2021, as soon as we got a weekly close below the 50-week moving average, that was the beginning of the new bear market. Similar thing happened in the cycle 2017 as well. However, as I mentioned in my previous video, there is a chance that we should get a recovery for Bitcoin pretty soon. And the reason why I'm saying this is because this market is very much oversold already. And even if we are in a bear market, this doesn't mean that Bitcoin will go down in a straight or direct line. There's always the time that Bitcoin will get a little bit of a bounce, consolidate, and then will go further down. With that being said, I think there's a strong chance for Bitcoin to go back to touch this 50-week moving average. Currently is sitting at $102,654. And the reason why I believe Bitcoin should get a bounce back to the 50-week moving average is because similar thing happened in previous cycles. For example, here in 2022, when we entered the bear market, Bitcoin went down from the 50-week moving average for about 34%, and then Bitcoin went back just above the 50-week moving average. Right now, if you measure from the top in October, so far Bitcoin has dropped 36%, and there's a chance for Bitcoin to bounce back and hit the 50-week moving average, which is sitting at $102,000. Also, looking at the Bitcoin's weekly RSI, it is heading towards the oversold area, and there's a chance that as soon as we hit the oversold area, we will get a little bit of a relief or bounce from there, and that will cause Bitcoin price to go up, maybe all the way to $102,000, around $100,000, where the 50-week moving average is currently sitting. And another reason why I think that we just entered the bear market and it's likely for Bitcoin to continue this downtrend is because if you look at the prior cycles, whenever we had a death cross that happened in Q4 of the last year for the Bitcoin's bull cycle, it always caused Bitcoin to enter a new bear market. For example, in 2021. Similar thing happened in 2017. If you look at the previous death cross, like for example, the one that happened recently here, and then another one here, and then we got another one here throughout this bull cycle, all of these death cross was acted as support for Bitcoin to get another leg higher. But the reason this dead cross that it happened just a couple of days ago did not act as support for Bitcoin is because this happened at Q4 of 2025, which is the last year of the Bitcoin's bull cycle. Historically, Bitcoin follow a 4-year bull cycle, as you all know. And similar thing happened here, that whenever Bitcoin had a death cross in Q4 of the last year of the Bitcoin's cycle, that always ended up for Bitcoin to enter a new bear market. All right, like I just said, historically, Bitcoin, whenever it entered the bear market, it went back to hit the 50-week moving average again, and then gets a rejection from there, and then continues the downtrend. So as I said, this market is very much oversold. And if you look at the daily RSI, it is now in oversold area. Bitcoin daily RSI cannot stay there for a long time. And the maximum amount of time that Bitcoin can stay in oversold area in its daily time frame is 1 week. So I personally think that there is a strong chance for Bitcoin to get a bounce from here and the price for Bitcoin to go higher. Another reason why I think there's a strong chance for Bitcoin to go higher is if you look at the Bitcoin's liquidation heat map, there's a huge amount of liquidity above the current price of Bitcoin. If we take a closer look, there's a huge amount of liquidity starting from $94,000 all the way to around $98,000. So that itself is a strong indication that I personally believe that Bitcoin will go higher to around $100,000, and market makers always wants to push Bitcoin price towards the area where there's a lot of liquidity is sitting. And last but not least, if we take a look at the Bitcoin's fear and greed index, it's currently level 10. That is an indication of extreme fear in the market right now. And that itself is a reason why I think Bitcoin should recover soon and get a bounce back to $100,000. And just to be clear, I'm not saying that Bitcoin price will go up to $100,000 tomorrow. It's going to take some time, but it is very likely that the bottom for Bitcoin, the local bottom for Bitcoin, is very near. It's probably already in. If not, then it is very close. And then we should expect a bounce and a recovery soon for Bitcoin. But for Bitcoin price to go up all the way to $100,000, I think it's going to take some time. Maybe in the next 1 or 2 months is the likely scenario. Also, let's take a look at the Bitcoin's support and resistance level. Currently, Bitcoin, unfortunately, broke this support level, which was sitting at around $84,000 and went down all the way to $80,000, but we got a bounce. But it's likely for Bitcoin, if go further down, there's a huge amount of support at around $75,000 to $76,000. And the immediate resistance for Bitcoin is around $92,800 to $93,000. So these are the support and resistance level. Watch closely these support and resistance levels if you want to trade Bitcoin. I also want to take a quick look at Ethereum to see how is Ethereum doing. Ethereum is currently respecting this exact support line that we draw, which is sitting at around $2,600, and it got a little bit of a bounce from here. But we have to see if Ethereum will continue to respect this support line. If not, then the next support level for Ethereum is around $2,400. And if it breaks again, then there's a huge amount of support at around $2,100. And as for the resistance level, the immediate resistance level is around $3,033 and a strong resistance around $3,400. All right, guys, that's all I wanted to talk about in this video. If you like this update and if you like this video, please give it a thumbs up, subscribe to my channel, and stay tuned for the next video update that's coming tomorrow.